In terms of styling, the Vauxhall Vectra is probably the automotive equivalent of Valium. In fact, I purposely never looked at one for too long for fear of slipping into a boredom-induced coma. Thankfully though, the same can't be said for the new Insignia. It's actually a classy looking car. I mean, look at it. Do you know what? I don't think I've ever seen a Vauxhall saloon that's quite as pretty.
Obviously, the Insignia's pretty design will count for nothing if it's no good as a long-distance cruiser.
After all, the Insignia will mainly be driven by men called Steve, who spend most of their time in the fast lane of the M6. But we're obviously not going to film it there because, well, it would look a bit rubbish. So instead, we've come to a more picturesque location to test it out. Now, you're not going to be too surprised to hear that this car is an impressive cruiser. I mean, it feels much bigger and much more refined and more upmarket than the Vectra. And it's very comfortable inside this cabin. For instance, these seats, you know, I wouldn't mind having them in my front room. They're that comfy. And really, if I had to ship a load of carpet samples, say, up to Wigan, I can't really think of any other car I'd rather be in. And do you know what? I'm more likely to arrive on time if I'm in an Insignia than, say, the Ford Mondeo. You see, with the Ford Mondeo, I'm always tempted to take a detour, you know, for the scenic route, because it's that much fun to drive. But the Insignia, its steering doesn't have quite so much feedback, and the chassis isn't quite so exciting, that you're less likely to go hunting for bends.
That's not to say the Insignia handles badly, it's actually quite good. It's just not as entertaining to drive as the Ford is. But the Vauxhall's engines are a match for the Mondeos, and this particular model has the pick of the range. It's a 158 brake horsepower diesel which does 0 to 60 miles an hour in 8.9 seconds, yet does 49 miles to the gallon.
Don't get me wrong, it's not going to blow your socks off, it's not that quick. But it's, you know, it's got plenty of mid-range grunt, so that if you need to buzz past some dawdler in a Toyota, you just put your foot down and whiz by. Now, as you're probably aware, sales of mainstream family cars such as this have been falling as, you know, fashion-conscious buyers have been opting for more premium upmarket models. But you know what? With this credit crunch, I reckon all that's going to change.
For instance, the Insignia looks as good as any premium model, yet for 23.5 grand, the luxurious elite model comes with stuff like sat-nav, leather interior, electric front seats and parking sensors as standard.
I mean, this equipment list is just massive. We've got electrically height adjustable driver's seat, electric 4-way lumbar support adjustment on the driver's seat as well, leather covered steering wheel and gear knob, automatic lighting control, electrochromatic anti-dazzle rear view mirror, electrically operated rear windows, AFL with high pressure headlight washers, dynamic headlight beam levelling, and finally, at last, electric foldable electrochromatic door mirrors. I mean, that's a lot of kit, and really, if you're to have a similar Mercedes C-Class, it'll cost you about £2 grand more, and you won't have anything like the amount of gadgets that this car has.
So, which would you rather have? £2,000 in your pocket and more gadgets than James Bond, or a star on your bonnet? Considering the current economic climate, I know which I'd choose.